Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Modi congratulates Tariq Rahman on leading BNP to a decisive victory in parliamentary elections, assures support for a democratic, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. Prime Minister Modi to unveil the name of building complex Seva Tirth and also inaugurate it, which will house PMO, Cabinet Secretariat and the National Security Council Secretariat. And in T20 World Cup, India beat Namibia by 93 runs, biggest margin of victory by runs in the tournament, next to clash with Pakistan on February 15. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulated Bangladesh National Party chairperson Tariq Rahman on leading the party to a decisive victory in the parliamentary elections of Bangladesh. In a post on X, Prime Minister Modi conveyed his warm congratulations to Rahman for leading the BNP to victory. This is what he said: "This victory shows the trust of the people of Bangladesh in your leadership. India will continue to stand in support of a democratic, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. I look forward to working with you to strengthen our multifaceted relations and advance our common development goals." As per the results declared so far, the Bangladesh Nationalist Party is set to form the next government after sweeping the 13th national parliamentary election, securing a commanding lead and crossing the two-thirds majority mark. The BNP and its allies are leading in 208 of the 284 constituencies announced, placing the party firmly on course for a decisive mandate. After nearly 2 decades out of power, the BNP described the outcome as an overwhelming public mandate. Party Chairman Tariq Rahman and Secretary General Mirza Fakhrul Islam won their respective constituencies along with several senior leaders. The BNP returned to power after 20 years, thanked the people soon after winning a majority in the overnight vote count and called for special prayers on Friday for the nation and its people. BNP leader Tariq Rahman is widely expected to be sworn in as Prime Minister. The son of the party's founder, former President Ziaur Rahman, Tariq Rahman returned in December to the capital Dhaka from 18 years abroad. Alongside the parliamentary election, a referendum was held on a set of constitutional reforms. The focus was on establishing a neutral interim government for election periods, restructuring parliament into a bicameral legislature, increasing women's representation, strengthening judicial independence and introducing a 2-term limit for the Prime Minister. There was no official word on the outcome of the referendum. However, leading local newspapers report that 73% of the nearly 296,000 votes cast in the referendum said yes and the rest said no. Moving on to another historic victory now from the Caribbean nation of Barbados, where Prime Minister Mia Mottley has registered third win with the Barbadian Labour Party sweeping all seats of the island nation's House of Assembly as counting ended early on Thursday. Mottley's BLP won all 30 seats for the third time, unseating opposition leader Ralph Sawn, who ran for the BLP in the last campaign in an election that pitted her more global-facing approach against the opposition's focus on Barbadians' domestic needs. Surrounded by supporters dressed in red, she pledged to strengthen efforts on issues such as infrastructure, healthcare and road safety. Mottley has been a leading voice on reforming debt for climate-vulnerable nations, including through debt for climate swaps. Prime Minister Modi has congratulated his Barbados counterpart Mia Mottley. In a social media post, he said, and I quote, "India deeply values its long-standing friendship with Barbados, which continues to expand across diverse areas of cooperation. I warmly recall our meeting on the sidelines of India CARICOM Summit in 2024 and look forward to working closely with her to further strengthen our partnership for the benefit of our people." Moving on to the news coming in from South Carolina State University, where 2 people were killed and 1 other was wounded in a shooting at a dormitory of the university, a historically black college, prompting a campus lockdown. The shooting was reported at about 9:15 p.m. local time in an apartment at the Eugene Suites student residential complex, according to the statement. So, few additional official details were immediately available, including whether anyone who perpetrated the shooting was still at large. South Carolina State, whose enrollment numbers is more than 3,000 students, is one of two historically black universities in Orangeburg, South Carolina, a riverfront college town about 40 miles southeast of the state capital, Columbia. The other is Claflin University. So, news coming in from South Carolina State University, where 2 people were killed and 1 other was wounded in a shooting at a dormitory of the university historically black college, prompting a campus lockdown. The shooting was reported at about 9:15 p.m. local time in an apartment at the Eugene Suites student residential complex, and few additional official details were immediately available, including whether anyone who perpetrated the shooting was still at large. South Carolina State, whose enrollment numbers is more than 3,000, is one of 2 historically black universities in Orangeburg, South Carolina, a riverfront college town about 40 miles southeast of the state capital, Columbia. The other is Claflin University. All right, updates on Canada shooting now. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney will join mourners on Friday in British Columbia town of Tumbler Ridge that is grieving after 8 people were killed in a mass school shooting. Carney will attend a vigil in Tumbler Ridge in memory of the victims, and he invited leaders from all political parties to join him in the town. Near the school, a bouquet of flowers and stuffed animals were placed at the foot of a tree. Yellow police tape surrounded the school buildings and snow-covered volleyball court. Earlier, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police on Thursday named the victims of the mass shooting. Police said Jessie Van Rootselaar killed her mother and stepbrother before shooting dead 6 people at the town's high school, including a female teacher, 3 girls and 2 boys. Now, US President Donald Trump has agreed to halt his unprecedented and widely protested deportation surge in Minnesota. White House border czar Tom Homan said on Thursday that a significant reduction in the operation is already in progress and will continue through next week. City leaders and residents are cautiously reacting to news that the immigration enforcement surge is winding down, with protests set to continue until there is clear evidence it has fully ended. Federal agents carried out thousands of aggressive raids in Minnesota that has sparked mass protests in Minneapolis and drawn widespread criticism after the fatal federal agent shootings of Rene Good and Alex Pretty.
With that, in success that has been made arresting public safety threats and other priorities since this surge operation began, as well as the unprecedented levels of coordination we have obtained from state officials and local law enforcement, I have proposed, and President Trump has concurred, that this surge operation conclude. A significant drawdown has already been underway this week and will continue through the next week.
A look at the key events since the deployment of ICE immigration forces to Minnesota. On January 7, a 37-year-old woman, Rene Good, was fatally shot by federal ICE agent during an enforcement operation between January 8 and 11. Initial protests began and people held protests and vigils across Minneapolis demanding accountability. On January 10, demonstrators protested outside a hotel where federal agents were staying. On January 11, ICE Out for Good rallies were held nationwide with coordinated protests, including in Minneapolis and other U.S. cities. On January 22nd, a 5-year-old boy was detained as part of an expanded immigration crackdown. On January 24, shooting of U.S. citizen 37-year-old Alex Petty by federal agents in Minneapolis. On January 29 and 30, solidarity events were held to support the victim families and the community. Protests continued in early February, during which dozens were arrested. On February 12, Trump agreed to end the unprecedented deportation surge in Minnesota. All right, we are slipping into a very short break. On the other side, more stories. Keep watching DD India News Hour.
This is Kashmir, popular as paradise on earth. A breathtaking region in North India. The abundance in nature and natural resources make Kashmir the muse of multiple historical references in literature and memoirs. Jammu and Kashmir was declared a union territory in 2019 and it has major tourist cities in the valley. This includes Srinagar, Gulmarg, Pahalgam, among others. Nestled in the Pir Panjal and Karakoram mountain ranges of the Himalayas, Kashmir of India is known for its scenic splendor. The celebrated picturesque gardens of Kashmir boast of breathtaking architecture and cultural landscapes, particularly like Nishat Bagh, Shalimar Bagh, Chashma Shahi and Pari Mahal. Snow-capped mountains, plentiful wildlife, exquisite monuments, hospitable people and handicrafts as well. The shikara in the pristine waters of the world-famous Dal Lake of Srinagar cannot be missed. The interiors of Dal Lake leave a charm of their own. Snow-fallen valley is like a winter symphony, making it a Himalayan winterland. Nestled amidst the Himalayas, Kashmir is not just a geographical marvel, but a haven of cultural treasures, tapestry woven with diverse traditions, soulful folklore of Kashmir, the folk music and dance of Kashmir, from the vibrant festivities to the intricate handicraft. Each element in Kashmir Valley encapsulates the enduring spirit of the region that cherishes its rich heritage amidst the breathtaking beauty of its landscape. The beautiful landscape that sets Kashmir apart. This is Kashmir, Kashmir of India. Discover the world with DD India.
I'm on a quest to explore the history of Goa.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. US President Donald Trump announced the reveal of a scientific finding that greenhouse gas emissions endanger human health, removing the legal basis for federal climate regulations. It also ended subsequent federal greenhouse gas emission standards for all vehicles and engines of model years to 2012 to 2027. The move represents the most sweeping climate change policy rollback by the administration to date, after a string of regulatory cuts and other moves intended to unfetter fossil fuel development and stymie the rollout of clean energy.
Under the process just completed by the EPA, we are officially terminating the so-called endangerment finding, a disastrous Obama-era policy that severely damaged the American auto industry and massively drove up prices for American consumers. That is why, effective immediately, we are repealing the ridiculous endangerment finding and terminating all additional green emission standards imposed unnecessarily on vehicle models and engines between 2012 and 2027 and beyond.
European Union leaders have agreed on a wide-ranging set of commitments to improve how the bloc's border-free internal market works, so Europe's businesses can be competitive and survive aggressive economic rivalry from the US and China. Reducing Europe's dependencies on countries outside the bloc has gained greater urgency because of geopolitical shocks, intensified global competition and an economy that lags behind bigger powers. The discussion in a Belgian castle brought a new energy on building a more resilient economy, echoed EU Chief Antonio Costa, promising concrete measures would be taken in the next leaders' meeting in March. But big divisions remained on show among the EU's 27 capitals. On the crucial matter of debt, the lines did not appear to have moved. Leaders backed by influential European figures believe the key to transforming the 27-country bloc's economy is to deepen the single market and make it easier for businesses to work across the continent.
We have agreed that next European Council in March, I will present a One Europe, One Market roadmap, an action plan that shows very detailed what are we going to do with timelines, with targets, and with a clear limit of time also to deliver. And the ambition is that we will have this document committed and agreed by not only the Commission but also the two co-legislators, that is the European Council and the Parliament.
NATO defense ministers met in Brussels to discuss fresh commitments for military support for Ukraine as the conflict with Russia enters its fifth year. Britain had committed $205 million to the so-called Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List (PURL) initiative to supply Ukraine with US weapons. The scheme allows allies to fund purchases of American air defense systems and other critical equipment for Kiev. British Defense Minister John Healey said that pledges from Britain and allies totaling $35 billion of military aid for Ukraine.
Save lives, we can pressure Putin, and we can agree peace, but only if we step up together. So together, I can confirm at today's UDCG, we pledged a total of $35 billion worth of new military aid for Ukraine. For our part, the UK is spending the highest level of support for military aid for Ukraine ever, and at this UDCG I announced a new £500 million package of urgent air defence support for Ukraine, President Zelensky's top priority.
Allies have already put forward over $4.5 billion through the program. The pledges were made at a meeting of the Ukraine Defence Contact Group, which comprises 50 nations, co-chaired by Britain and Germany.
Needs our support now more than ever. And we must also support the vision of Minister Fedorov when it comes to 2026 and to make Ukraine as strong as possible in the fight. And I'm urging all nations to step up their support and to share that burden.
Is referred to as a city dome project. It is concerned with the improvement of air defense above Ukraine's metropolitan areas that are under threat.
Iran and the United States have yet to set a date for a new round of talks after an initial encounter last week on the contested Iranian nuclear program. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and US President Donald Trump met on Wednesday to discuss about creating the conditions to reach a deal with Iran that would avoid military action. Netanyahu said he told Trump Israel needed any deal to include a halt to Iran's nuclear program, limits on its ballistic missiles and Iran's proxies. Netanyahu's visit was more muted than usual and close to the press. The two leaders spoke behind closed doors for more than 2.5 hours in what Trump described as a very good meeting. Donald Trump said no major decisions were made and stopped short of publicly accepting Netanyahu's entreaties. But for now, US President is not rushing to launch military action against the Islamic Republic.
We have to make a deal, otherwise it's going to be very traumatic. Very traumatic. I don't want that to happen, but we have to make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time, and they got Midnight Hammer instead. And this will be very traumatic for Iran if they don't make a deal.
In the latest updates coming in, as per the US media outlets, the US is sending a second aircraft carrier to the Middle East amid tensions with Iran. The aircraft carrier USS Gerald R. Ford and its escort ships will be sent to the Middle East from the Caribbean. Earlier this week, President Donald Trump had said he was considering sending a second aircraft carrier to the Middle East if a deal is not reached with Iran. The first aircraft carrier, the USS Abraham Lincoln, and several guided missile destroyers arrived in the Middle East in January. Trump said on Thursday the United States has to make a deal with Iran and suggested an agreement could be struck over the next month. Now, North Korea threatened a terrible response if it detects any more drones buzzing across the border from the south. South Korean President Lee Jae-myung has sought to repair ties with North Korea last year, criticizing his predecessor for allegedly sending drones to scatter propaganda over Pyongyang. But North Korea claims it shot down a surveillance drone just last month, an incident which threatens to blight Lee's efforts to patch things up. Kim Yo-jong, the powerful sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, warned of severe repercussions if the drones did not stop. And this year's Munich Security Conference is drawing a lot of attention as relations between Europe and the United States remain strained. There are a lot of divisions on trade and social media regulation despite recent agreements on defense. Europeans are anticipating a more conciliatory message from U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who is set to address the conference. At last year's conference, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance sparked controversy by accusing European leaders of censoring free speech and failing to manage immigration. The conference will open Friday with remarks by German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and conclude on Sunday. Up to 5,000 police officers have been deployed during the Munich Security Conference with international support from Austria, Switzerland, France and the Netherlands, though several protests and gatherings have been planned. Now, two Mexican flag ships carrying humanitarian aid entered Havana harbor as Cuba's longtime ally made good on a promise to assist the island's nation after Washington threatened to impose tariffs on countries that supply oil to the island. U.S. claimed that Cuba poses an extraordinary threat to the country's national security, an assertion that Havana denies. Mexico announced the delivery of aid after suspending shipments of crude oil and other refined products to the island weeks ago. Now, Japanese authorities said on Friday that the fisheries agency seized a Chinese fishing boat and arrested its captain. The Japanese fisheries agency in a statement said that it has seized Chinese fishing boat and arrested its skipper for allegedly defying an order to stop. The incident happened on Thursday inside Japan's exclusive economic zone of Nagasaki Prefecture. The incident marks the first time since 2022 that the agency has seized the Chinese fishing boat. The vessel is also the first foreign fishing boat seized by the agency this year. There were 11 people on board, including the captain. The move is expected to further heighten tensions between the two neighbors. It was the first time since 2022 that the Japanese agency has seized a Chinese fishing boat. The arrest of another Chinese fishing boat captain in 2010 of those islands in the East China Sea became a major diplomatic incident between the two nations. Now, Japan has agreed with the United States to accelerate talks on the first batch of deals under Japan's $550 billion investment package. Japan's Trade Minister Ryosei Akazawa on Thursday said that two nations are agreed to hold further talks on first batch of trade deals. Akazawa told media that the talks are being conducted with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's planned U.S. visit in mind to ensure it is fruitful. Japan has been under pressure to move faster on implementing the investment package agreed as part of Tokyo's deal with Washington to lower tariffs on Japanese exports. Japan's investment package would include equity, loans and loan guarantees from state-owned agencies, Japan Bank for International Cooperation and Nippon Export and Investment Insurance. The United States signed a deal with Taiwan to confirm lower U.S. tariffs on the island's goods alongside Taiwanese spending commitments on American products. The final reciprocal trade agreement was signed on Thursday, confirmed a 15% U.S. tariff rate for imports from Taiwan while committing Taiwan to a schedule for eliminating or lowering tariffs on nearly all U.S. goods. The document released by the U.S. Trade Representative's Office on Thursday also commits Taiwan to significantly boost purchases of U.S. goods from 2025 through 2029. The deal will immediately eliminate Taiwan's tariffs of up to 26% on many U.S. agricultural imports. Under the deal, Taiwan will also remove non-tariff barriers on motor vehicles and accept US auto safety standards as well as those on medical devices and pharmaceuticals. Now, the Argentine Chamber of Deputies has passed a bill to lower the age of criminal responsibility from 16 to 14. The reform now needs approval from the Senate. The bill was passed by 149 votes to 100 and reflects President Javier Milei's tough on-crime approach. The government said the new youth criminal law will help fight impunity, ensure faster justice and stop repeat offences by minors. It also promised to maintain order in the streets. Time now for another short break. On their side, more stories. Keep watching DD India News Hour.
When we see so many things wrong around us, we just need to turn off our autopilot and start making conscious choices.
Raja Banerjee decided things needed changing and introduced organic farming methods. His aim, producing tea in harmony with nature.
Control-S is doing it, it is partnering with the government in using that treated water or the grey water into our data centers that in turn use less of power.
Industrial waste is also cleaner, and there's a lot of it. Taiwan has a lot of big industry, in particular semiconductors and petrochemicals, so there's big potential for reuse there.
To make the process more efficient, he created an app. The app already shows where the trees are and when they were last watered, so you can also plan a route near your home.
A confluence of spirituality, knowledge and culture. The progenitor of democracy, Bihar holds a special place in India's history. Treasure the journey of enlightenment. Travel the holy circuit trails of multiple faiths. Experience the legacy of ancient India. And an educational lineage that produced some of the greatest luminaries of the time. Discover a multitude of art and craft forms. Savor the true flavors of the land. And enjoy the sights and sounds of iconic festivals. Delve deeper into the natural beauty of this land, enriched by the sacred river Ganga. Today, Bihar's infrastructure is at the heart of its transformation. Poised to take a big leap with initiatives in agriculture, education, tourism, and information technology. An ode to a remarkable history. Bihar truly offers a glimpse into a captivating past and vibrant present. Welcome to Bihar.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Jharkhand.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of our top stories. Prime Minister Narendra Modi congratulates Tariq Rahman on leading BNP to a decisive victory in parliamentary elections, assures support for a democratic, progressive and inclusive Bangladesh. Prime Minister Modi to unveil the name of building complex Seva Tirth and also to inaugurate it, which will house PMO, Cabinet Secretariat and the National Security Council Secretariat. And in T20 World Cup, India beat Namibia by 93 runs, biggest margin of victory by runs in the tournament, next to clash with Pakistan on February 15. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will unveil the name of the building complex Seva Tirth in a short while from now. He will thereafter formally inaugurate Seva Tirth and Kartavya Bhavan 1 and 2 and also address a public program at the Seva Tirth later in the day. The inauguration marks a transformative milestone in India's administrative governance architecture and reflects the Prime Minister's commitment to building a modern, efficient, accessible and citizen-centric governance ecosystem. Seva Tirth houses the Prime Minister's office, the National Security Council Secretariat, the Cabinet Secretariat, all of which were previously located across different locations. Kartavya Bhavan 1 and 2 accommodate several key ministries, including the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Defence and others. Both building complexes feature digitally integrated offices, structured public interface zones and centralized reception facilities. These features will foster collaboration, efficiency, seamless governance, improved citizen engagement and enhance employee well-being. Designed in accordance with 4-star Griha standards, the complexes incorporate renewable energy systems, water conservation measures, waste management solutions and high-performance building envelopes. These measures significantly reduce environmental impact while enhancing operational efficiency. The building complexes also include comprehensive safety and security frameworks such as smart access control systems, surveillance networks and advanced emergency response infrastructure, ensuring a secure and accessible environment for officials and visitors. And giving a significant boost to development in the northeastern region, Prime Minister Narendra Modi will land at the emergency landing facility on Moran Bypass in Assam's Dibrugarh, where he will witness the aerial display of fighters, transports and helicopters. The emergency landing facility is the first of its kind in Northeast India. It has been specially designed and constructed in coordination with the Indian Air Force to support landing and take-off of military and civil aircraft during emergencies. It will serve as a critical asset for emergency response, enabling quick deployment of rescue and relief operations during natural disasters or strategic requirements in the Northeast. Envisioned as dual-use infrastructure, the ELF is capable of handling fighter aircraft up to 40 tons and transport aircraft up to 74 tons maximum takeoff weight. Prime Minister will also inaugurate several key projects aimed at accelerating connectivity, strengthening digital infrastructure, promoting higher education and enhancing public transport. The PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana is fast emerging as a game changer in India's clean energy push. Launched by Prime Minister Modi in February 2024, the initiative is not only reducing electricity bills for families but also accelerating India's transition towards sustainable and climate-friendly energy. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya with this report.
India is powering its future right from the rooftops. On February 13, 2024, Prime Minister Narendra Modi launched the PM Surya Ghar Muft Bijli Yojana, a transformative demand-driven scheme to bring solar energy to every home. Under this initiative, any residential consumer with grid-connected electricity connection can install rooftop solar by applying through the national online portal. The government provides a fixed one-time subsidy transferred directly into beneficiaries' bank accounts. To make adoption easier, households are also eligible for bank loans at concessional rates. To ensure last mile reach, urban local bodies and panchayats are actively promoting rooftop solar system at the grassroots level. The impact is already visible. Since its launch, over 20.85 lakh rooftop solar systems have been installed nationwide, benefiting more than 26.14 lakh households. A total of 14,771 crore has been disbursed as central financial assistance till December 2025. Looking ahead, rooftop solar installation in 1 crore households could generate 1,000 billion units of clean electricity, cutting 720 million tons of carbon emissions over the next 25 years. Tapas Bhattacharya's report, DD India.
And India's Trade and Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has once again asserted that the India-US trade pact fully protects farmers' interests. In a social media post on X, Goyal said that around 90% to 95% of farm products produced in India have been left out of the trade agreement in which the interests of farmers have been protected. He stressed that the pact does not touch sensitive agriculture and dairy. The minister also assured the nation that under Prime Minister Narendra Modi's leadership, farmers of the country will always be secure, empowered and prosperous.
In the recent trade deal with the United States of America, the interests of farmers have been kept paramount and fully protected. In this agreement, all major crops of farmers, including wheat, rice, millets, soya meal, corn, GM food products, spices, potatoes, have been fully safeguarded. We have also fully protected the interests of farmers producing major fruits, including apples. India's doors have not been opened to dairy products or poultry. The truth is that many of our products, including basmati rice, fruits, spices, tea, marine products, and many more, will find new markets, increase our exports, and boost farmer incomes. We have opened huge markets for cotton textile exports, which will increase the demand for cotton manifold, benefiting our cotton farmers. Every decision taken in the trade deal is in the best interest of Bharat and 140 crore Indians, including our farmers, our youth.
And India's Agriculture Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan launched a sharp attack on Leader of Opposition in the lower house of Parliament, Rahul Gandhi, saying that he has little concern for the country's farmers. In a social media post, the Agriculture Minister said Rahul Gandhi has never been comfortable with the empowerment of farmers and he has been seen repeatedly making anti-national statements.
झूठे हैं, उन्हें देश से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, देश के किसानों से कोई लेना देना नहीं है, किसानों की मजबूती उन्हें कभी रास नहीं आई, वे तो देश विरोधी बातें करते हुए नजर आते हैं। अभी उन्होंने एक वीडियो में झूठ बोलने के सारे रिकॉर्ड तोड़ दिए। वो झूठ बोलकर देश में भ्रम फैलाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमान नरेंद्र मोदी हमेशा से किसान हितैषी रहे हैं। उनका हर निर्णय किसानों के हित में लिया गया है। उनकी योजनाओं ने किसानों की जिंदगी बदल दी है। और अभी अमेरिका से जो समझौता हुआ है, उस समझौते में भी किसान हित पूरी तरह से सुरक्षित हैं। मोदी जी का हर निर्णय किसान के हित में है। राहुल जी, झूठ बोलकर कभी किसानों का भला नहीं किया जा सकता। किसानों का भला होगा सच्चे और किसान हितैषी फैसलों से, जो श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी सदैव करते आए हैं। आप कितना भी झूठ बोलें, भ्रम फैलाएं, देश को नीचा दिखाएं, लेकिन मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में एक वैभवशाली, गौरवशाली, संपन्न, समृद्ध, शक्तिशाली, आत्मनिर्भर और विकसित भारत का निर्माण होकर रहेगा।
Union Textiles Minister Giriraj Singh hailed the recently announced India-US interim trade agreement. In a post on X, Union Minister Giriraj Singh said that India's garment sector is set to scale new heights with enhanced access to the US market, ensuring greater global competitiveness and a true level playing field. With improved market access, our industry will compete on equal footing and expand its global footprint. This forward-looking step strengthens the entire textile value chain from cotton farmers to MSMEs to exporters, boosting exports, generating employment and reinforcing India's position as a trusted global manufacturing partner. An Indian Navy delegation headed by Vice Chief of the Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Sanjay Vatsayan, participated in the West 2026 conference in San Diego, reinforcing India-USA maritime partnership in the Indo-Pacific. Vice Chief of the Naval Staff joined a high-level panel on allies and partners in Indo-Pacific readiness, integration and future fight, and engaged extensively with defense industry leaders. During the visit, he interacted with senior U.S. Navy leadership, including the Chief of Naval Operations and Fleet Commanders, and toured naval facilities across San Diego, further strengthening India-USA naval partnership and shared maritime security objectives. And today we are celebrating World Radio Day, a tribute to the medium that has not only carried voices across distances but also connected hearts and minds. DD India's Tripti Tripathi reports.
Good morning, this is Akashvani. I am Sarabjit Kaur with the World News. Despite being over 100 years old, the radio is one of the most popular ways to exchange information, provide social interchange, and educate people all over the world. It has been used to help people, including youth, to engage in discussions on topics that affect them. It can save lives during natural or human-made disasters, and it gives journalists a platform to report facts and tell their stories. Proclaimed in 2011 by UNESCO member state and adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 2012, World Radio Day is celebrated every year on February 13th. For 2026, the theme Radio and Artificial Intelligence opens up a whole new field of discussion, creation and exploration. This year, UNESCO is encouraging radio stations to make use of new free resources, including access to broadcasting-related AI tools and free AI training sessions. Radio stands at a moment of transformation where AI can help strengthen its core mission, informing, educating and entertaining. By automating routine tasks like scheduling, voice tracking, weather and sports updates, and administrative workflows, station can free teams to focus on creativity and connection. The goal, however, remains same: to strengthen international cooperation between broadcasters and encourage access to information. World Radio Day is a reminder to thank broadcasters for the news they deliver, the voices they amplify, and the stories they share. Tripti Tripathi's report for DD India.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended greetings on the World Radio Day, saying it is about celebrating a medium that is a trusted voice for people, be it in remote villages or bustling cities. In a social media post, he said that for years, the radio has delivered timely information, amplified talent and encouraged creativity. He added that this is a day to acknowledge the efforts of all those associated with this medium. Through his Mann Ki Baat program, PM Modi said that he has experienced the potential of the radio firsthand in bringing out the societal strength of our people. He further informed that this month's program will take place on Sunday, 22nd February, and urged countrymen to share inputs for the program. All right, we are slipping into another short break. On the other side, more stories. Keep watching DD India News Hour.
Geopolitics and trade deals. Economic challenges amid development. Hard work and the path to prosperity. It's the economy always. Between walkers, money is what money does and says. Supply creates its own demand. Between the bulls pulls and bears tears. when supply chains globalization and India rises to the podium. We'll get you centered with the economic brief at 8 p.m. every Thursday on DD India.
Embark on a timeless journey. Unravel the mysteries of a grandiose era. A treasure trove of royal and sacred complexes, temples, shrines, pillared halls, mandapas, rock-cut memorials and more. A spectacular setting of rugged landscape and exemplary workmanship, representing the best of Dravidian architecture. Every structure carved out.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. India is increasingly leveraging artificial intelligence to address its high vulnerability to climate change, moving from reactive, data-dependent and slow-moving responses to proactive, anticipatory and real-time strategies. DD India's Prasar Bharati reports.
As climate change intensifies, India is turning to artificial intelligence as a powerful tool to strengthen climate action, resilience and sustainable development. India is among the world's most climate vulnerable countries. Over 85% of its population is exposed to extreme weather risk. Traditionally, climate response relied on historical data and delayed action. Today, AI is helping India move from reaction to anticipation.
AI today can be leveraged to actually identify from geospatial data, from satellite data, which are the areas where we are going to see more extreme climate events, whether it is extreme heat stresses, whether it is flood events, whether it is droughts in the future. As the climate changes, we are going to see more extreme heat impacts. And so that we can start planning for those right from today. If we need to change our cropping system, if we need to evolve our, let's say, infrastructure design of our cities to reduce heat stress, all of that is today possible with AI.
Using machine learning, satellite imagery, and high-resolution climate models, agencies like Indian Meteorological Department have significantly improved the accuracy of cyclone, flood, and heat wave forecast. These advances have helped reduce cyclone-related fatalities by over 90% since 1990s, an achievement now studied globally as a model for disaster risk reduction. AI-enabled forecasting and smart grid system predicts solar and wind generation, balance electricity demand, and reduce transmission losses. These technologies are crucial to India's commitment of achieving net zero emission by 2070. AI is also strengthening environmental protection. Satellite-based analytics monitor forest cover across 7.1 lakh square kilometers, enabling near real-time detection of deforestation, forest fires, and illegal mining. Along India's 7,500-kilometer coastline, AI model assess sea level rise, shoreline erosion, and cyclone risk, helping coastal communities prepare for a future shaped by climate uncertainty. In cities, AI platforms map air pollution, predict heat stress, and support climate action plans in urban centers facing rising temperatures and declining air quality. From saving lives through early warnings to securing farms, forests, and clean energy, artificial intelligence is powering India's climate fight, transforming data into action and resilience for the future. With camera person Mukesh, this is Prasar Bharati for DD India from Delhi.
All our sports updates now. We'll start with T20 World Cup. India's winning juggernaut continued in the T20 World Cup 2026 with a comprehensive 93-run victory over Namibia on Thursday at the Arun Jaitley Stadium in Delhi. The men in blue registered their biggest victory in the tournament's history and also extended their record unbeaten streak to 11 matches in their climb to the top of Group B with 4 points from 2 matches and an impressive net run rate. They will next take on arch rivals Pakistan in a highly anticipated fixture on February 15 in Colombo. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download now. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India News Hour.